in 21 to COVID, and now he's really just saying, I'm going to make the best of this time, and he's showing up big time for the Bulldogs.
So here we go. Saturday afternoon lacrosse, we're underway, and Nicholas Ramsey wins the opening faceoff for the Bulldogs. Ramsey took every faceoff last weekend, split time in the home opener against Villanova, a game that Yale won. UMass is 1-2 to start the season. Some interesting results, right? A really good performance against a really, really good Army team, blown out by BU last week, but just dominated UMass Lowell 2 weeks ago, so it's a little difficult to know what to make of the Minutemen. Here's the first shot of the game. It's whistled wide from Brad Sharp. Yale backs it up, still plenty of time to shoot.
Yeah. UMass really, the big conversation needs to be today of the guys that they're missing. Kevin Tobin out with an injury. Chris Connolly out with an injury. Tui out with an injury. So these are three guys that you're counting on that you just don't have.
Nice dodge move, and a shot is a little bit wide to say the least. Looks like Thomas Bragg got a little trouble getting that out of his stick. So the Bulldogs keep just about 30 seconds to shoot here. In net for UMass, Matt Note, the junior out of New York, making his 20th career start. Preseason All-CAA selection. There's Bragg once again, going one-on-one with the long stick. Gives it up for Brian Tevlin, and a score early. Leo Johnson gets things going.
Great ball movement here out of Yale. You're going to see it start with an initial dodge up top, and then two quick passes, getting it down to that wing to Leo Johnson, that spot that he loves on the wing.
Johnson, the first year out of Greenwich, number 3 recruit in the nation, scores his 5th goal of the season. And Patrick, I don't know if you're one for patterns, but Johnson had the opening goal in the win here against Villanova 2 weeks ago, so maybe a good sign for Andy Shea's Bulldogs.
Well, let's hope that they also we have a game that good. That was a great game that we had.
UMass with its first possession here as Caleb Hammett gets his first face-off win. In net for the 3rd straight game for the Bulldogs is Jared Paquette, the sophomore at West Islip. Was very good in the loss to Penn State last week. Only gave up the 10 goals, made 16 saves. Certainly no fault of his that Yale didn't get the win last weekend.
Yeah, you look at a guy, if you look at that stat line and say, hey, only giving up 10 goals, making 16 saves. You think you're coming out of there with a win, and Paquette has played really, really well. I had a chance to talk to Coach Shea the other day and ask him about, Jack Stark, kid won a national championship. What makes you go away? And he said, Jack probably had the best preseason ever that he's had for us, but Jared just outplayed him. He's just been there.
Mike Tobin goes high and scores. Oh, his brother Kevin's out today, but Mike's here, and he ties the game at 1.
Mike Tobin does a really great job of using his size to advantage. Or, UMass, we're looking at a lot of these attackmen who are not really as big, so you're going to see a little wing dodge, gets down, gets below his defenseman, Esbach, and then is just able to get his arms behind him and fire it past Paquette.
Both teams well over 50% on faceoffs coming into the day. Obviously, UMass has played one more game than Yale as we have a battle for this one, and the big ground ball pickup comes for Jack Montfort for the Bulldogs. There's Matt Brandow, the All-American top returner on this Yale team, playing with all these youngsters. And he's kind of having to lead the way for this group. Brandow, through the first couple games, has 6 goals, now 66 in his career. Great feed and a big-time save. Shot was low from Logan Solberg, and Note made his first stop.
Yeah, it's seeing the ball really well on that shot. And Solberg just, a worm burner low to low. He's got to change the plane on that.
Brandow! And it's 2-1 Yale, but they're going to throw the flag.
Yeah, that's not going to be a goal. That's going to be a goal mouth issue where this is going to be a rule that everyone's going to talk about. Are they? I'm assuming that they're going to wave that goal off because he landed in the goal mouth. And really, any goal, even if a guy's pushed into the goal mouth, if he lands in the goal mouth, it's no goal.
So the officials discussing it here, and they do say no goal. But the call goes against UMass, so Yale's going to be man up here. And this is a big kind of moment early in the game. The Bulldogs have, not had many man-up chances to start the season, Patrick, and not converted on any yet, just 0 for 4 through the first 2 games.
Yeah, and that's something that they have to work on to build to get better during the season. This is something that these are guys who haven't played a lot, and this is a very skill part of the game. And if these guys take the time to figure it out, it's a process, and they haven't played in 2 years, and they're going to get to the point where they can get their man up dialed in.
UMass 7 for 14 through the first 3 games against the man up. Just 8 seconds left on the opportunity for the Bulldogs. Bragg fires and scores. There's the first of the year, and a 2-1 Yale lead.
Wow. Bragg has just a cannon, and he's just a big player, and he gets those arms back and creates such velocity with that shot. Gets the time and room, it fires out to him up top. And I think Brandow was in the middle, and he just ducked. Brandow just said, I'm not getting in the way of this.
So a 2-1 lead on Bragg's goal, his second of the season, the junior out of Cazenovia, New York, and another face-off win for Ramsey. Brandow moving in, goes low, big save, rebound loose out in front. Still loose on a big ground ball, and it's picked up by Matt Cadigan. One of a couple pairs of brothers, the Cadigans and the Tobins, on this UMass team led by 28th-year head coach Greg Cannella. Second longest active tenure at one school. Big save, Paquette, rebound put home by Prosick. Gabriel Prosick scores his 6th of the year, and we have a very high pace in the early going.
Prosick did a great job just picking up the garbage and putting away. He gave Yale fits a couple of years ago. I think a lot of people forget that was in the 2020 season. That was the only loss that Yale had. Another surprising loss. Yale was number 1, and UMass was able to knock them off. A great play.
We mentioned Greg Cannella, 28th year here, 9 NCAA tournaments, and of course, Andy Shea, the head coach for the Bulldogs, was his assistant for a couple of years. Now that's kind of ancient history with how long Coach Shea's been here in New Haven, but these two obviously know each other extremely well, and there's a huge hit, and the loose ball picked up by Ramsey. That was Chris Fake, the All-American, but it's taken right back by Liljeburg.
These two teams are really cut from the same cloth. They are going. You may not get the best recruits in either of these programs. Or may not have the best recruiting class, the top recruiting class, but the guys that you have are going to fight every second that they are on that field, and they are going to claw and they're going to scrap and try to get whatever they can to win the game.
Now UMass, as we said, without Kevin Tobin and Chris Connolly today, those two were having outstanding starts to their season and were all-conference, all-American type players. Connolly was on the Tewaaraton Award watch list. Tobin, the leading returning scorer from last season. Here's a long shot. Paquette saw it go wide off the stick. And UMass able to back it up. So a number of guys are going to have to step up today, and players already on the field for the Minutemen who really hadn't played at all this season. That last shot coming from Tim Hoynes. He has it in his stick right now.
When I talked to Coach Cannella before the game, I said, well, are there any scratches? And he listed them, and I think he saw my eyes go really wide, knowing that who he wasn't going to have, and he had this smile on his face that, he's been here for 28 years. Coach Shea referred to him as the Don of New England lacrosse. He is a guy that he's just been here. There's not anything that's going to be new and surprise him. He said, we're going to play our guys. They're going to do the best that they can. And he knows that his guys always overachieve, so it's always the next man up. Who's going to be there to step up and make a play for the Minutemen?
Here's Shane O'Leary. Shane O'Leary has it stopped by Paquette. Loose out in front. This one gets hit up and into the stick of James Cadigan. On that last shot a few moments ago, UMass got the reset of the shot clock, and this pass goes right through as Jackson Cummings was waiting for it on the doorstep. Instead, it turns into a UMass turnover. 2-2 in the early going, and now Yale will try for its first clear of the day. Bulldogs struggled a bit in that category against Penn State and turn it over here.
Yeah, just a pass was just a little off target there from Brad Sharp.
So here's Prosick now for a UMass group averaging and giving up exactly 13 goals a game through the first 3. But as we said, one blowout win, one blowout loss, and one very close game against Army. That Army team ranked in the top 10 right now, and that group is absolutely rolling. And BU has really shocked a lot of people. Undefeated start to the season, and they are inside the top 25 as well. Good stick there, and this is going to be picked up with the long stick by Jack Stuzen.
Nice ground ball by Stuzen there.
Stuzen, the #1 incoming defenseman in the country. So you talk about him and Leo Johnson, a couple of rookies that were ranked incredibly highly coming into school here in New Haven. Obviously, though, talent and experience, things that need to be paired together. This is Johnson behind the net. He had the first goal today for the Bulldogs as we're just about 7 minutes into the first quarter.
And a moving pick there called on Brandow. Didn't seem like a lot of contact. But the official right there on top of it.
UMass able to clear and set up offensively. You know, coming into this season, UMass with 13 players with at least 20 games of collegiate experience and 5 with more than 70 career points, but 2 of those guys, as we said, not playing today.
Yeah, I think Tubin is really the biggest loss for them today, leading scorer from last year.
Saracolo, transfer from Hartford, one of 3 transfers on attack that the Minutemen brought in this season. Pass low, oh my goodness, Mike Tobin.
Wow, Tobin playing for both brothers.
Tobin with a highlight reel goal, and UMass goes up 3-2, 7:07 to go in the first quarter here in New Haven. For Yale, who trails 3-2 in the early going, 7:07 left in the first quarter. And Pat, an early change as Newman does win the faceoff. He's the 3rd guy as this ball is loose still, and UMass will pick it up. Now comes back towards Cabrera, and he picks it up for the Bulldogs. 3rd faceoff specialist that Andy Shea has used in the early going of the season.
Yeah, last against the Villanova when Nick Ramsey started to struggle, they turned to Mac Rodriguez, who really played very well. I think we were both very surprised that we didn't see him in the Penn State game, but Ramsey played really well. And I'm a little surprised that we even see the switch to Newman now, because I think Ramsey's done a pretty good job at the faceoff so far.
So the Bulldogs trying to set up offensively. Here's Johnson. Out in front it comes. It was knocked down, still loose. Bounce shot just wide from Tevlin. Minutemen dodged a bullet there.
A very low angle shot for Tevlin. Really tough to make it with his right hand from there. If he'd switched over his left, maybe a little bit more angle.
Eight minutes gone by in the first quarter. 2 goals for Mike Tobin, who had just 5 all of last season for UMass. Has them out to the 3-2 lead.
And right now, UMass playing with a ton of intensity, playing with heart, every guy stepping up to see what he can do to make his team better. And that's what you need, playing it together as a team.
Grant Breo gets it past Paquette.
What beautiful, what great timing for it. Just this UMass team keeps grinding, and somebody from Yale's got to make a play. One of the offensive players has to dodge, has to create something that's going to give a little momentum to the team and slow this UMass team down.
They go back to Ramsey on the face-off here. And another pickup, though, for UMass. Ryan Fitzpatrick came away with it. This game very clearly taking more of the shape of the Villanova game for Yale than the Penn State game from a week ago. That was low scoring the whole way. That Villanova game, remember, it was so windy and everybody who was shooting at the left side of the field was dominating for that quarter. But today, a very high energy and intensity start. Prosick. This is Tobin once again. Being defended by Christian Johnson. And he gives for Saracolo. Led that Hartford program in points last season. Liljeburg behind the net. The Sacred Heart transfer. Under 4:40 to go in the first quarter. Saracolo turns and fires, and a save Paquette. And Paquette picks it up. Player down, though, for UMass, as there was a lot of physical pushing and shoving going on right there.
Yeah, the UMass fans wanted to push from behind, and very, very well could have gone that way.
So now let's see if the Bulldogs have an answer, as UMass has scored the last 3 goals. Leading 4-2 here at the 4-minute mark of the first quarter. Solberg. Now Patrick Hackler. Being forced back by the long stick. 40 seconds to shoot. Solberg once again. Tough angled shot, high and wide from Cabrera. Chances maybe not the highest of percentage in this game to start, at least for Yale.
Getting forced to the alley a lot, forced to these low angle shots.
There's Brandow. 25 to shoot. Brandow got some contact and didn't get much on the shot.
Yeah, a little surprised they didn't flag for kind of a late high hit there on Brando after he shot.
Eisenstadt looking to push things. A fake, and UMass will slow it up a little bit. Liljeburg, big save, Paquette. That's the best of the day so far for the sophomore.
And he ends up with the ball.
UMass has had the better of the loose balls, at least in the first quarter. But that was a big stop from Paquette, as you feel like maybe that could be a momentum changer for Yale.
One of my favorite things about lacrosse is how it doesn't all come down to size. Yeah, you want guys who are bigger and stronger athletes, but you look at a guy like Liljeburg, not the biggest guy out there, but hustle, getting low, getting that ground ball, and it comes up big for his team right there.
Yeah, just 5 feet 9 inches. Had 73 goals, 65 assists in his career at Sacred Heart. And another stop, Paquette. This one on the bounce shot.
And we keep saying that Yale's got to make a play. You got Paquette keeping you in this game, doing great things for you, but nobody's converting on the other end. And if you don't convert soon, you're just not going to be able to catch back up. UMass will keep building away.
There's Tevlin, and he missed just wide. Under 2 to go in the first quarter. 2 big saves on the other end for Jared Paquette, both on Logan Liljeburg. And now with a 60-second shot clock, Bulldogs go back to work.
I think one of the differences that we also look in these teams is just the amount of playing time. You talk about how UMass has so many players who have so much game experience at the collegiate level, and Yale just doesn't. They're still a very young team.
Sharp gives it up. Cabrera, and a save made. Matt Note brought the legs together and shut it down.
And this could be another case of Yale facing a goalie that is just playing super, super hot.
Yeah, you mentioned all the experience that the Minutemen have on the field, but also between the pipes for Note, a 3-year starter now. First team All-League last year, and he was the preseason goalie on the All-CAA team this season. Had a tough game against BU, just 10 saves, gave up the 16 goals, but certainly a talented player with tons of experience.
And if you face a hot goalie, it can change the game. It's like facing a pitcher who's just can't be stopped, and it's going to make for a long day for Yale if they can't solve the riddle.
Tobin misses wide, was looking for the first quarter hat trick. 25 seconds to shoot, so we're well under a minute to go in the opening quarter here at Reese Stadium. Liljeburg had no angle there. 14 seconds to shoot. Tobin with 2 goals in the quarter gives it up. Great pass and another great save on James Cadigan. So 3 straight big stops from Paquette. Under 20 seconds to go in the quarter. And again, the ground ball picked up by Jack Stuzen, sophomore out of Baltimore. See if the Bulldogs can get one quickly at the end of the quarter. Looking to push it, it's Johnson. Now for Leo Johnson. He's going to have to get one away. Gives it up. Quick shot and a stop made to end the opening quarter here in New Haven. A bunch of goal scoring early, but the goaltender stole the show in the final couple of minutes. And after 15, it's UMass 4 and Yale 2 as you're watching Ivy League lacrosse here on ESPN. Start of the second quarter in New Haven, 4-2, UMass on top of 12th ranked Yale. Joe Newman back in the faceoff circle for the Bulldogs. But UMass will have possession here. Justin Galante and Patrick Reed, thrilled to be with you. Patrick, kind of your thoughts overall in the first quarter that started as a very high-scoring affair, and then both goalies were great down the stretch.
Yeah, definitely a little run and gun in the beginning. Really both teams kind of settling in. You're really seeing some great goalie play. Yale, I think, really has to be concerned. Defensively, they're really just letting some guys get open off ball that they shouldn't be. Guys aren't getting beat. There's not slides being drawn, and they're letting guys find their way open in the middle of the field, and that can't happen. So they need to tighten that part up. And then they just got to start getting some better shots at maybe some higher angles to put the ball behind the Note.
Note had 5 saves in the first quarter. Paquette had 7. And UMass scores again. It is 5-2 as Tim Hoynes converts.
Tim Hoynes just really getting to the middle of the field here. Sweeping across the field, hands free. Gets a nice shot.
Hoynes, the senior out of Cheshire, Connecticut, scores his second goal this season. Had not had much playing time in the first 3 games, but with the injuries for UMass today, he is seeing plenty of time. And he makes it 5-2.
Yeah, great player out of Cheshire. Knew his dad very well, played with him for a while, and just a great family and a great lacrosse community up in Cheshire.
Again, Newman, a violation on the faceoff. And now UMass is trying to stack possessions here and build the lead. This is a Minutemen program that has played Yale really well over the last few years, and the reason we put it like that is obviously Yale has been a pretty dominant program over the last several years under Andy Shea. The last 5 meetings between these two have been decided by 3 goals or less, including that first-round game of the NCAA tournament back in 2018, a Yale win 15-13.
Such an exciting game.
Saracolo gives it up for Tobin, who had 2 goals in the first quarter, and he throws it away. So a break there for Yale, and you feel like this is a possession where the Bulldogs sort of need a goal.
We keep saying that. We keep, and that's the thing is we keep saying they need a goal, and they turn it over immediately and give it right back to UMass.
So another chance here. Quick shot just wide from Shane O'Leary. So the clears, that's kind of been a sticking point maybe, and Andy Shea is going to take a timeout here with 13:15 to go in the first quarter, or in the second quarter, I should say. A 5-2 UMass lead, and that is the 3rd failed clear of the game already for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and that's where Coach Shea is going to call that timeout. He's got to get his guys to focus, making sure.
5-2 UMass here. We'll take a break here in New Haven. Back here at Reese Stadium, a couple minutes into the second quarter, off the Yale timeout, a 5-2 UMass lead, and the Minutemen with possession here. Justin Galante and Patrick Reed and our entire outstanding crew. Thrilled to be with you on what's a pretty nice Saturday afternoon for early March. Great crowd on hand today. Mike Tobin going up against Tevlin, one of the very experienced members of this Yale team. 43rd career game for Tevlin today.
Tevlin, he's been around forever and just really a great two-way midfielder. Yale's not uncomfortable just leaving him out on defense.
O'Leary and another great save by Paquette. And a dive for it. They're going to keep it, though, with UMass, as it looked like Tevlin might have been closest.
Wow, let's see replay of that. Tevlin really just looked like he dove at that last second and really had the step.
Shot clock got reset to 60 after the save. Mike Tobin, tough angle, goes high, caught behind the net by Cadigan, off the post on the shot from Prosick. What a sequence there.
Very great ball movement from UMass. They're really feeling it right now, and Yale has to stop the bleeding right now, because if UMass were to get a goal there, this place would have erupted.
This is the guy you look at to stop it for Yale, Brandow. 6 goals, 2 assists to start the season for the junior out of Maryland, who had that first year a couple years back with 50 goals. Here's a long stick shot and a fairly easy save for Note.
That's not what you want to see from your offense. You've had it on defense for a long time, and then you just go, you take 1-2 steps in and take a long shot that the goalie can see.
There's a pickup by Michael Alexander with the long stick. Unsettled situations, Bulldogs want to run. That's fired high from Patrick Hackler, and UMass able to back it up. It was the goalie, Note, closest to it. And now on the other side, Greg Cannella will take a timeout as things have gone a little haywire early in the second quarter. A 5-2 UMass lead here at Reese Stadium. And Pat, only 1 goal in the last several minutes combined as the goaltenders have started to take over. I think both coaches saw something in those last couple of moments they weren't thrilled about, so each using an early timeout here in the second.
I think both teams are getting a little just not taking care of the ball and getting a little reckless with their shots and just maybe rushing things a little bit more than these teams want to see. When you look at a team, when you're a team that has skill-wise is not where you'd expect to be or not where you want to be like UMass is, you lost 3 of your really important players, being able to stop, and you want to slow that game down and really control the ball. And UMass is getting into a little bit of a frantic pace here. So that I think Coach Cannella is just like, hey, we're here. We have a lead. Let's just play smart. Let's build on this lead. I think Yale, I don't like Matt Brandow getting the ball there and then passing it off to a midfielder. Get it in. I don't know if that's something that Coach Shea is wanting to do, to just hand it off to the midfielders, but somebody on this attack line needs to become the quarterback. So he needs to be the guy that's going to say, hey, we're going to control this team. We're going to control the ball on offense and be the person in charge. And right now they're not doing that. So they need to change that up somehow and get somebody that's going to slow the offense, slow things down, get everybody in, and then attack. And who that's going to be, I would love to see that be Brandow, but somebody's got to do it at this point.
So out of the timeout, UMass has it, leading 5-2. 8 saves already for Jared Paquette. Note has 5 for the Minutemen. UMass 5 for 5 on clears in the early going, and now 6 for 6. Couple minutes gone by here in the second quarter. UMass led 4-2 after the first.
That was really great composure from Note. Yale was letting the 2 back defensemen and the goalie kind of pass the ball, and they kind of clogged up the middle, and he just waited till he got somebody open and made that quick pass.
It's obviously an asset when you have an experienced goalie like Note as well, who we've seen just make one pass across midfield a couple times for the clear. Cadigan behind the net, gives it up for Breo, and Paquette, he's feeling it right now.
Paquette every game is making Andy Shea look good. For making you choose someone over a guy who won a national championship for you. And I'll tell you, I do not hold back saying that I feel like Jack Starr, with 2 huge saves in that national championship game, really doesn't get enough praise for winning that game for Yale. Jared Paquette making everybody say, Jack who?
Yeah, Starr made 9 saves in the national championship win against Duke. Paquette, very highly touted recruit, was selected for the US U21 team that'll play at the World Cup. This one high and wide again from Sharp. 37 on the shot clock. And 9:40 to go here in the second quarter. See if Cabrera can get going. Yale's second leading scorer to start the season. He gives it up. Big shot, score. It's Tevlin.
That's really what Yale needs, and they need to build on that momentum right now. But again, we talk about the shots that Yale's getting. Cabrera dodging. Everybody's looking at him. He makes that pass to Tevlin, who's got a great step-down shot, but he's also taking that shot from the middle of the field. He takes big step down and gets that ball going high to low so that goalie has to turn, find where the ball is coming from, and then when he sees it, he's got to adjust to that ball coming down. That's just great fundamental lacrosse.
Hammett against Ramsey again on the faceoff, and a false start against Hammett, so Yale will get it. Chance to continue to build on the momentum of Tevlin's first goal of the season. Leo Johnson gives off for Matt Brandow. The All-American attacker. Brandow a little high. Backed up by Leo Johnson. (5-3) UMass lead here. In the second quarter, the Bulldogs continue just an absolute gauntlet of a schedule to start the season. Starting with Villanova here, a team that was ranked at the time at Penn State, always a tough opponent. UMass receiving votes. Then you go to Denver next, then at Cornell to start Ivy League play. Nothing easy on Andy Shea's schedule, that's for sure.
I'll tell you, I love to see UMass coming out and playing man-to-man defense against Yale.
Here's Cabrera. Solberg. Turning. Hackler goes low and missed wide. Still 24 to shoot.
You looked at how much trouble Yale had with that zone defense last week, and I know they prepared for it, but UMass says, hey, we can beat you with a man-to-man defense, and their defense has really come up well.
Johnson's pass went through Cabrera. And it's picked up by Matt Cadigan. Liljeburg, nice job to pick that up and start the offense for the Minutemen.
What great hands. What a great pickup out of the transfer portal. And it's just so interesting how these last couple of years, the guys that are coming in with their extra eligibility and just coming to new places and doing amazing things.
Tobin with a couple goals today, gives it up. O'Leary spinning. Now Liljeburg behind the net. The former Sacred Heart Pioneer. Now a UMass Minuteman playing in his home state. He's from Rentham, as this is wide from Tobin, so playing for his home state school, but back in the state where he started his collegiate career today. 32 seconds to shoot here for the Minutemen. They're trying to find a way to solve Paquette, who has 9 first-half saves, and that's not the way to do it. Paquette got a stick on it, so the shot clock will reset to 60. And Paquette, another big-time stop. That was Shane O'Leary, and Paquette is just rolling right now.
And we talked about that Villanova game. Paquette had a really rough first half, and I think had 1 save in the whole first half of that game, and then the second half was just lights out. And it seems like maybe it just takes him seeing a couple of shots in the game. If he could start getting this hot earlier in the game, he's going to just be a tremendous pickup.
It's a little odd to say a goalie won you a game that finished 17-14, but you can make that argument as Johnson missed just wide. You could certainly make that argument for the way that Paquette played, as you said, in the second half of the win against the Wildcats 2 weeks ago on this field. 40 seconds to shoot for the Bulldogs, who trail by just 2. Brad Sharp out in front, and Brandow gets on the board.
Great dodge by Brad Sharp, and just keeping his eyes up, being able to see that cross field pass. Dodged a little wing dodge down the alley. Eyes are up, and Brandow just gets lost behind that UMass defense.
Doesn't get any easier than that for the All-American. It's Ramsey again at the face-off here. Yale has alternated between him and Newman in the early going. This is the first time we've seen Zach Hockman for UMass, and that's the second straight time that it's been a false start call And Yale gets another possession here.
Zach Hockman from Milford, Connecticut, but played his high school ball at Notre Dame West Haven. I played against him a lot. I'm glad he's at UMass. He was a great face-off midfielder, great midfielder in general at the high school level, and played probably his high school is probably not even a quarter mile from here.
So now Yale with a chance to tie. Brandow in front. Solberg couldn't get on it. Now Brandow scores! And we're tied up at 5.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to this replay because I couldn't see. It happened so quick. Brandow catches a shot, and then it deflects off a UMass defender, and he picks that back up and buries it in the back of the net. That's just a beautiful play.
Second in a row for Brandow, third in a row for Yale. And how impressed do you have to be with this response after a little bit of a slow start?
It's great. I'm sure that Coach Shea will watch this tape and say, we can't play a quarter and a half of not playing our best, and we can play when we can play like this all the time.
We have a whistle here, and it's Yale ball. So everything going the Bulldogs' way right now. A 3-0 run has made this a 5-5 game. UMass had the 4-2 lead after the first quarter. Here's Sharp. All the way around and gives it up. Jack Monfort. UMass staying in that man-to-man defense as we approach 5 minutes left in the half. Tough pass in and out of Cabrera's stick. Johnson gets it back. 40 seconds for Yale to shoot. Good defense on Leo Johnson there by Grant Breo. Monfort back for Cabrera. Now Brandow, who scored the last 2. Shot clock running down to 15. Johnson, tough shot. Missed high, backed up by Brandow. 12 seconds on the shot clock.
Official moving Brandow way back.
Here he comes, 6 and 5 on the shot clock. Brandow gives it up. Monfort got blocked. Cabrera's going to have to shoot it. Would have been a shot clock violation, but UMass gets it anyway.
Great defense from UMass on that play.
And that felt like a really big stop because everything was going Yale's direction.
And even right there with that clear, looked like it could have gone the other way. And it looks like we're going to get Coach Cannella taking a timeout here. He senses the moment that how important this possession is. You were up 5-2. Yale's kind of clawed back in. You make a great defensive stand, and now you got to put a point on the board just so that you can control this game. Take a lead, keep it close. Whenever you're playing a team, you never want to let an underdog stay close in a game, because if you let them stay in the game, they start to believe, and then that end of that game comes, and that's where they find they can dig a little deeper, and that's how an underdog will beat you in a close game like this.
As a coach, what's it like in a situation where, Yale and UMass play every year? Andy Shea was obviously Greg Cannella's assistant at UMass back in the early 2000s. So, there are no tricks in a game like this.
There are no tricks in a game like this, but these are two teams that are just going to play their game. They're going to go and do everything they can. And it's a toe-to-toe street brawl with these two teams, and they're going to play tough. They're going to try to play their games. I wouldn't expect them to try anything gimmicky because it's not anything that either one of these coaches believes in. They take their guys. They are tremendously tough on them. They put them in situations that are going to be challenging and look for them to rise to the occasion. And both of these coaches have seen their programs rise to really great heights. Coach Shea with a national championship in 2018, and UMass went to the national championship game, came up just short. But when they did, they were like unranked.
Yeah, 2006, first unranked team ever
Yeah.
to make it to the title game, and Greg Cannella inducted into the U.S. Lacrosse Hall of Fame back in 2019. So let's see where the Minutemen go out of the timeout. Tobin had the 2 goals in the first quarter. Here he comes again, and he scores. A hat trick for Mike Tobin.
You see a great move here, down to the side. Bites, inside rolls, and just a great play. And you always talk about times when a coach will call a timeout, and all of a sudden it ends up a goal for the other team. Coach Cannella has been around forever. He knows how to do this. He knows what to do to get his guys to respond in those tough situations.
Another face-off win for Ramsey, who's been good today, 7 for 11 in the circle. Now 3.5 to go in the first half, and a 6-5 lead for the Minutemen.
Things going well for the Minutemen. With just some of the lucky bounces are really kind of going their way. They almost lost the ball on their clear before.
Johnson ties it again.
Johnson with a great dodge from X, getting his hands free. There's a pick. Not a great switch there, and then he's just able to get above goal line extended and go 5-hole on note.
2 goals today for Leo Johnson, 6 on the season, and now Machado Rodriguez in the face-off circle for Yale. What do you make of, all the substitutions here for Andy Shea at the face-off circle when the guy who's seemingly kind of your number one choice there in Ramsey has been pretty good today?
It's very unlike Andy Shea. He is really, in the last decade, typically rode one face-off guy. It was Cole Yeager, it was Dylan Levings, it was Connor Mackey, and then of course T.D. Erlin for a little while. And so he's just he rides that one guy, and that guy gets 90% of the face-off. So maybe he's changing with time.
11 for Ramsey today, 3 for Newman. That was the first for Rodriguez. Now at 2.5 to go in the first half. Carson Kuhl and a shot from Brandow. He got his stick altered and easily picked up on the UMass side. Pretty even first half here, 26 shots aside, 17-12 on goal in favor of the Minutemen. And each team 7 for 14 on the face-offs as that one inside the post and home for Shane O'Leary.
And I was going to say before, UMass, you say sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and this is another instance where almost lose a ground ball here. Defenseman dives at it, and then he's out of position, and you end up with, an uncontested you alone with the goalie. Those are the plays that you have to capitalize on them when luck goes your way, and UMass is capitalizing on them each time.
Super entertaining first half, still 2:06 remaining. And it is back to Ramsey for Yale, trying to win it against Hockman. And Ramsey picks it up. Leo Johnson. We've talked about, how highly recruited and highly ranked Johnson was. What do you see out of him in the first couple games of his career?
Great vision, great dodging ability. He's got all the intangibles. He's a tremendous player. It's only a matter of time that he really just takes it to that next level and becomes just a dominant force controlling this team.
Hackler behind the net for Johnson again. Under 90 seconds to go in the first half. Working on the pick with Hackler and gives it back to him. Brandow swings it around. Solberg for Bragg. Johnson, tough shot. And it went wide. 31 seconds still to shoot.
And so that play started with a pick that just created a lot of slides. And UMass, great job of just being able to fight back through them.
Cabrera faked once, took a lick. We're going to have a call here against UMass.
Yeah, that hit on Cabrera, I think they're calling for some interference. Giving the ball to Yale.
And the Bulldogs, big here, get a shot clock back to 60 with 1 minute and 2 seconds left. So they can basically, if they'd like, run out the remainder of the half, trailing by 1 goal here, trying to find an equalizer. Hackler, another one of the Bulldogs who was selected to that USA U21 team, one of 4 on the roster. Cabrera has a couple assists in the first half. No goals yet after the hat trick against Penn State last Saturday. Bragg. Now Leo Johnson with a couple goals today. Hackler, tough shot, goes wide. 22 seconds to shoot.
Good ball movement, able to get his hands free, and 22 seconds. Yale really wants to get one here before the end of the half. Go into the half tied.
Johnson. This will stay with Yale, 15 to shoot. 16.8 left in the second quarter. A 7-6 UMass lead. Brandow. Shot clock to 8. Matt Brandow takes a hit, still with it in his stick. 3 to shoot, gives it up, and it's taken by Jake Dulac. Long ball into Paquette's stick, and that ends the first half of play at Reese Stadium. What a fun half hour of lacrosse. And the Minutemen with a 7-6 lead as we go to the break. Getting set to start the second half of play at Reese Stadium here in New Haven alongside Patrick Reed. I'm Justin Galanti. A 7-6 lead for the Minutemen at the break over the Bulldogs. And Patrick, let's take a look back at the highlights from the first half of play. It was high scoring early, and then the goaltenders took over.
Yeah, great ball movement out of Yale. Finding Leo Johnson on the wing with a great shot. A nice wing dodge, and then getting under your defenseman and getting to the middle of the field.
Bulldogs responded then with a goal from Bragg as Yale was led by Leo Johnson and his 2 goals, as well as 2 goals from Matt Brandow in the first half. There was the rebound stick back, though, from Prosick. But it was Mike Tobin who really stepped up in the first half for this UMass team. Tobin with a hat trick today.
Yeah, Mike Tobin doing a really great job of getting to the middle of the field, getting his hands free, really creating fits for these Yale defenders.
Leo Johnson, one of the big initiators for this Yale offense, but that goal from Brian Tevlin really swung momentum back in Yale's favor after it was 5-2, and the Bulldogs were able to get it back to a tie at a point in the first half, ended up at 7-6, and as we take a look at the stats from the first half of play, not really a ton differentiating the two teams, but a really strong first half, I thought, from Jared Paquette for Yale.
Yeah, 11 saves, and all of them really huge, and those 3 failed clears for Yale. They really have to clean it up, take control of that ball. It's really interesting. We saw UMass really controlled a lot of that first half, built a small lead, built a lead. They were up by 3, and then Yale goes on a run, and you think, hey, they're going to control the rest of this game. They flipped a switch, they're on, it's done. And then UMass said, not so quick. And they start chipping away again, and they put one in, and this defense for UMass really stepping up, doing a great job of limiting this Yale offense.
So here we go for the start of the second half of play. It'll be Ramsey once again at the face-off for Yale, where he was 7 for 11 in the first half, going against Hockman, who was 4 for 7. Hammett was 3 for 8 for the Minutemen. In the first 30 minutes of play, the second 30 underway. Cabrera trying to get to it. Big loose ball to start the second half. Still loose there. And finally picked up by Sam Eisenstadt, second-team All-CAA performer a year ago.
And that is going to drive Coach Shea nuts. There were 3 or 4 Bulldogs who missed a ground ball there. That is not something you expect to see out of a Yale team. And UMass, Coach Cannella, preaching doing those little things right. That is just such a huge play there for the Minutemen.
Only 6 turnovers aside in the first half. Ground balls at the moment, a 17-14 advantage for the Minutemen, who lead the game by a goal. O'Leary. Now Liljeberg. And Paquette the stop on Prosick.
Beautiful save again from Paquette. Sees that ball so well.
Jared Paquette making his 3rd career start today with 12 saves already. His career high, if you want to call it that, is 16. That came a week ago against Penn State. Now Yale looking to get this game back even early in the 3rd quarter. Brad Sharp gives for Brian Tevlin, who scored his first goal of the season earlier. Had a steam here for Bragg. Thomas Bragg out in front. Brandow! One time, and he ties the game at 7.
Very similar to that play we saw earlier with Brad Sharp dodging down the wing and finding Brandow on the back door. A great dodge. Slide comes late, but when it does, Brandow's left wide open. No second slide there to Brandow.
Another hat trick for Brandow. 9 goals on the season and 69 in his career.
The first violation for Yale.
UMass is led by as many as 3. Yale's biggest lead has been 1 today. Remember that 3rd quarter against Villanova where Yale just blew the doors off the Wildcats and ran away with that game. So the 3rd quarter was kind of the decider in that season opener. And then on the flip side, it was kind of the same last week against Penn State. Yale outscored Villanova 9-1 in the 3rd here in the opener. Last week, Penn State outscored Yale 3-0 in the 3rd quarter.
Well, talked to Coach Corrado from Villanova after that first game, and we talked about that wind and how we were saying, the wind was so big. And he said, usually we like to have our guys playing defense in front of us at the end of the game. He goes, we actually switched that around because we wanted the wind at our back for the 4th quarter. And he said, we were in great position, and then that wind died down in the 4th quarter, and our scoring stopped.
20 seconds to shoot. Paquette another stop. And Yale looking to go quickly in transition. Unsettled situation, Jack Montfort. Montfort winds up off the post. I think Note got a piece, and then it hit the post.
Oof. And that was a great fast break, a great shot. And this is really just a game of inches. That's a big save by either by Note or by the pipe.
So it remains tied at 7. 11:40 to go in the 3rd quarter. And really no surprise, as we said, the last 5 meetings between Yale and UMass have been decided by 3 goals or less. Saracolo gives it up for Tobin, who has a hat trick already today. Tobin, big shot, and another stop. Paquette. When you're an attacker and you have a goalie in this kind of groove, what's the feeling like when it feels like it has to be a supernatural effort to score?
Well, UMass is going to have to get some ball movement so he's not seeing that ball clear. It's going to have to be a cross-crease pass, so he's got to move and change direction, because if you try to step with a time and room shot, he's just seeing it way too well right now.
14 saves for Paquette, 6 for Note. Yale has certainly asked a lot of its goaltender today, and he has answered. Now let's see what the offense can do. 35 seconds to shoot. Cabrera off the crossbar.
again, Yale, tremendous shot, got a lot of velocity on that shot, but hits the pipe and bounces out.
Now a turnover trying to clear. Tevlin ahead with speed. Tevlin shoots and a save made by Note. Couple posts and a big save there. And just about 5 minutes into the third, we remain tied at 7. First time in a couple of weeks playing a tight game. If you're UMass, right, played that 1-goal game, a loss against Army in the opener, as this is loose out in front and it's deflected in. I think Prosick will get credit for it, but how about that for a goal to give UMass the lead back?
Really was about to just give Chris Fake such a great job. You talk about when a guy's cutting, checking down on his hands, and it looks like we were a little bit off on that. So the pass comes, check the stick, and it just bobbles right in. And so you talk about how do you get past Paquette is, first of all, you need to have a lucky break like that, but it's got to be something where he's not looking straight at the ball and getting a good view of it.
UMass ball here.
And another procedure call. So I think that's the second one for the half.
Yeah, it is, and there were none in the first half against the Bulldogs. 22-14, UMass outshooting Yale today in terms of shots on goal. No surprise, at least on the UMass side. They outshoot their opponents by 5 per game to start the season. Lil Jabbird gives off behind the net for Breo. 6 minutes gone by in the third quarter. UMass holding the same 1-goal lead it had at the break. Prosick, and he throws it away. 8th UMass turnover against just 6 for Yale. What do you think the conversation was at halftime with Andy Shea and his team, seeing how well they played in the middle of that second quarter?
Well, just telling them, we know we can do this. Play your game, do the little things right, win those ground balls, take care of the ball on clearing, and we're going to be in it. But you see, he's also changing things up a little bit. We're seeing guys that we have not seen as much of. He's putting new guys in all the time.
That was Carson Kuhl, whose pass to Leo Johnson got knocked down and taken away. So now UMass looking to clear. 10 for 12 on the clears today. Yale is 11 for 14. UMass came in about 87%, and I think Cabrera got a tip on that pass, but it still comes through, and the Minutemen have 60 to shoot.
And here's Stuzen, who is so dangerous with all those caused turnovers, and he helped, but it looks like DeMuth was the one who's going to probably get credit for that one.
Yeah, those two bring the eruption from the Yale bench. DeMuth was so active in that first game against Villanova. 7 ground balls through the first 2 games for him. Junior out of Pennsylvania. First non-Pennsylvania opponent for Yale today. Obviously Villanova in Philly and Penn State. They're in Happy Valley.
I appreciate the clarification, as I can occasionally be geographically challenged.
If you don't know that Penn State's in Pennsylvania, then that's really challenged.
Just half joking on that one.
I know. Here's Bragg. His pass for Cabrera got tipped, and it'll stay here with Yale. 3 goals today for Brandow, 2 for Johnson. Tevlin a goal and assist. The other side, Tobin leading the way with 3 goals for the Minutemen. Brad Sharp, and another big stop. It's Note going down to a knee. Loose ball there, picked up. And UMass will look to clear. That was Matt Wygand, who got the start today in place of the injured Adam Towie.
Coach Shea talked about when I talked to him about his feelings about this game, he said, they were going to start 3 guys who shut us down 2 years ago. Same 3 guys. And so Toey's out, but you still have 2 guys who really know how to play this Yale team very well. Not afraid of them. Going to go toe-to-toe with these guys, and you're seeing the evidence of that right here.
That was February 29th of 2020, a 13-10 win for UMass. Yale had won the prior 3 meetings in the series. Mike Tobin being defended by Thomas Bragg. Nearly a giveaway there as Saracolo didn't have it in his stick yet. The former Hartford Hawk. Tobin again, 15 to shoot. Prosick. Shot clock running low. Liljeberg, and that got blocked out in front, I think, by Bragg. And Yale will have it here. Great defensive possession for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, great hustle there by Chris Fake going after that ball out on the wing line. And, it always breaks my heart a little bit to hear, players who are transferring from Hartford because they obviously lowered the program down from Division I to Division III. And a lot of the players just decided to go elsewhere.
A whole nother conversation topic there.
Yeah.
Saw a lot of that in the hockey ranks this season when Robert Morris shut down the program and all the players were dispersed really around the Northeast. There's Cabrera. Gets it back. Obviously, a lot of people talk. Here's Hackler shooting. Big save made again. Now Note's starting to really find his rhythm. But just to finish on that point, a lot of people talk negatively at times about the transfer portal, but there are certainly benefits to it. One of them being, a kid who has, by no fault of his own, so we have a turnover here on UMass. The program goes from D1 to D3. He still wants to play D1 lacrosse, and it's much easier to find a new home for that.
Yeah, the transfer portal is there's parts about it that you hate, but sometimes it's just not the right fit for a kid. And they're able to go somewhere else and find a place that it's just better for them.
There's Brad Sharp. Approaching 4 minutes to go in what's been a very low-scoring quarter. Just 1 goal aside. Sharp lost it, and the run after it for Matthew Hill. UMass ball.
And Brad Sharp with the push from behind there, automatic turnover.
Sharp a little frustrated with himself on the sideline there as Tobin's able to split Brandow and Cabrera and complete the clear. You have to give Yale a lot of credit on its ride today, right? UMass came in with a super high clearing percentage. Just 11 for 15 today.
Yeah, a couple of turnovers just on that last previous clear just before this one. Just really not giving the attackman an easy chance to get that ball, staying on him and going with the Yale, that 10-man ride, and just making things difficult for everyone on the field.
Dylan Arant, 18 in the UMass jersey, shoots it, and I think it hit a stick out in front. Might have been Alexander's before it got towards Paquette. They do credit it as a shot, though, as it resets to 60 on the shot clock. Breo, and another stop. Rebound goes just wide. O'Leary had the second opportunity. Paquette now with 16 saves.
This Yale offense has to stop making Jared Paquette bail them out. They need to put points on the board if they want to win this game, because this UMass team is just not giving an inch, and they just keep coming and keep coming. The intensity is there.
Prosick goes low and scores. 9-7 UMass leads. 2 minutes and 37 seconds remaining in the third quarter, and the Minutemen on top here in New Haven. Nine 9-7 UMass on top. Alongside Patrick Reed and our entire crew here in New Haven, I'm Justin Galanti. Glad to be spending an early Saturday afternoon with you. Another face-off win for a moment for the Minutemen, still loose around midfield, and Brandow's going to come get it. Big play from the All-American. Quickly, Cabrera scores!
Coming out of that timeout, Yale playing with intensity and a sense of urgency. They need to have that sense of urgency. Lost the ground ball and then came back. Beautiful play by Brandow there. He knew somebody was coming behind him, and you watch when that ground ball comes to him, and he's just protecting it, makes that great pass to Cabrera. I almost was worried that it hit it looked like it hit pipe and came out. I was worried that it didn't go in.
A goal and 2 assists today for Cabrera. A really important face-off here. And Ramsey comes away with it. He's had a very good day. Lost that for a moment as Liljeburg's stick head broke. He has to come off and get a new one.
Somebody needs to help Nick Ramsey. He was exhausted there, and that's where you got to have one of your teammates come in and get into a place where you can get the ball to him.
You see the official there doing the cleanup on the broken stick. And maybe that was the saving grace on that play for Yale to keep possession. Bulldogs down a goal, each team with 2 in the third quarter. So we talked about how the third quarter was completely decisive in Yale's first 2 games. Certainly not the case today. Cabrera gives for Solberg, the sophomore from Los Angeles. And Solberg gets walled off and it's picked up. Great play by Wygand again.
Look out, they've got numbers.
Unsettled situation, long stick shot, score. Wygand, 2-goal UMass lead.
Everybody loves a pole goal, and you had to know that was coming. He's got his room there. He's looking around. He doesn't get that opportunity very often, but he's coming up the field and just arms free. Those shots are so hard for the goalie to stop. You'll see it's a nice high to low bouncer. And Paquette doesn't really have a chance with that one.
Again, Wygand starting today with Adam Towie out. And he scores to give UMass the 2-goal lead back. And we've had so many sequences in this game where it felt like momentum was going to shift one way. As Tevlin's able to get to this, he tried to stay in bounds but gave it away. Flag is down though. I think, see what the call is here.
And a call coming. I'm not sure what the call is.
Yeah, I paused for a moment because it almost looked like the indication was that it was going to go against Yale, but I think it's actually a cross-check here against UMass. And now another big opportunity for Yale with 1 minute and 1 second remaining in the third quarter.
Yale has not had a ton of luck on their man up. And this is going to have to be one where they're going to have to put the ball in the net here.
Yale is 1 for 1 on the EMO today. Had been 0 for 4 this season. One important note in this game, UMass has not had an extra man opportunity. Full minute here for Yale. UMass had 7 man-up goals in the win against UMass Lowell. So let's see what the Bulldogs can do here in the final minute of the third quarter. Here's Keeb. Johnson. Now behind the net, it's Brandow. 4-point game for him. Cabrera for Keeb. Out in front. Dodging. And no shooting lane there for Eddie Koo. 30 seconds left. Cabrera whistles it high. Some different players getting time here for Andy Shea.
Yeah, a lot of different faces, and Coach Shea talked about this.
Keeb again. Pass got knocked down. Johnson still able to pick it up. Time running low. Johnson again. No shooting lanes here for the Bulldogs yet. Under 10 seconds left in the quarter. Cabrera fires it, and he missed low and wide. Clock stops at 3.1 seconds. Brandow. Keeb, quick shot, score! With less than a second left in the quarter. How big is that?
That is a huge goal for Yale, and this is what we talk about with momentum. Here's the question. Every time Yale lands one of these knockout blows, UMass responds. And how are they going to respond? They've got a face-off here that's going to take us, that'll just burn off this 0.3 seconds, and then they're going to have to rebound after that. And we're talking about a team, UMass still has the lead. But are they going to respond and put another one on the net? Yale has to use this momentum and take control of this game and try to get some control on offense.
What a momentum boost for the Bulldogs to finish the third quarter. 10-9. UMass leads. Don't leave us. Fourth quarter coming up here in New Haven. What a moment for Johnny Kibe, scoring the first goal of his game to make it a 10-9 ball game as we start the fourth. Johnny Kibe, the first year out of Jamesville, New York, up in the Syracuse area. Super highly ranked recruit. Brandow, Cabrera, we're tied!
Wow. Yale responds. What a great play. Wins the faceoff, lose a quick turnover, and then just fighting for it back. Quick ball movement from Johnson to Brandow to Cabrera on that back door. And just a great ride from Tevlin is the one that creates that turnover and gets the ball for Yale.
And how about the way that these last couple minutes have gone? Loose ball. And they're going to have the call going against Yale. So UMass ball. But you have your star stepping up in, guys like Brandow and Cabrera, who's an emerging star this season, and Kibe, who had not been in the game until that last EMO sequence, getting the goal nearly at the expiration of the third quarter.
Coach Shea really playing everyone. And you think of how they've played the last decade. It was always, they kept a really small roster, and now there's just so many players that you can throw at the other team. He said to me this week, he said, be prepared to see Carlson Cool.
Big stop pocket on Cadigan.
But he said, be prepared to see Eddie Q and Johnny Kibe. There's so many guys here that are just earning spots, earning time on the field.
And it's not too bad to be able to bring a top 50 recruit in the country off the bench for your extra man situation. So we're all even at 10. Yale has not led since 2-1. UMass went ahead from that point to 5-2. It's been tied a number of times, and we're tied right now at 10-10. And if Yale finishes off a victory today, Paquette will deserve tons of credit. He has 17 saves now today. Here's Bragg with a goal. Gives it up for Leo Johnson. Skip pass. Hackler! It squeaks through! And the Bulldogs retake the lead.
Yale's starting to feel it, starting to move the ball, let the ball do the work, get this defense moving, finding somebody open with time and room, and finding a way to beat Note. You can't let Note just step in and see the ball, and Hackler they move that ball around. It gets to him on that rotation, kind of that skip pass across.
Greg Cannell is going to make a change at the faceoff here. Back to Caleb Hammett, who struggled early in the game. It had been Zach Hockman for a while. It's back to Hammett. And the call will give UMass possession. So an 11-10 Minutemen lead. And have they changed the call here? They have. It's Yale ball.
Well, and it looked like it was supposed to be UMass. I think the official incorrectly pointed for UMass, and then they discussed it and said, no, this is Yale ball right now.
So now the Bulldogs with a chance to really take a stranglehold on this fourth quarter. Scored right at the end of the third, scored to start the fourth. Here's another chance behind the net. It's Montfort for Johnson. Now Kyle Zawatsky who's in. Zawatsky fires well high. Might have been a stick that altered his shot as the long stick of Jack Gump was in there.
And Zawatsky, a guy that we saw a lot in the Villanova game. Haven't seen a lot today.
His brother, Christian, in the midst of a big game himself right now, plays at Maryland. They're playing Notre Dame at the moment. Pass doesn't get through to Cabrera. Still picked up by Leo Johnson. 35 to shoot. Nice job to get that pass by Hackler. Montfort takes a big hit. And it's picked up by O'Leary, who's had a very good game today. For UMass, Mike Tobin with 3 goals, Prosick with 3 as well. For Yale, a 6-point game for Matt Brandow, a 4-point game for Will Cabrera. Those two have really started to develop some chemistry in the early going of this season.
I don't know what it is about Brandow's game that I think a lot of people, you watch him and he's putting up these really good points, but it just doesn't seem like he's controlling the game.
Arant hit the post. Fake had his stick on it for a moment, and then it's picked up by the long stick of Bryce DeMuth. Unsettled situation back the other way. Christian Johnson shoots it, and a big save made. Wow, note. I think that might have been going wide, but Yale had the backup ready for it. Now in transition on the other side. And the Minutemen will slow it up for a moment. Tobin. And he gets walled off by Christian Johnson with just about 11 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. Yale has the only 2 goals so far in the quarter. Breo gets knocked down. Good defense by Tevlin. Shane O'Leary dodging his way through. What a shot! And he scores!
And it looks like I'm going to figure that might be a slash, so they may be going on the man up. That is it's just a beautiful play, fighting through the bodies. Whew.
How do you do that?
Backhand shovel pass, that is just playing free.
So we're tied at 11, and now we'll get the call.
And
Yeah, good call.
Stuzen's going to go for a slash.
And now UMass will go to the man up for the first time today. 10 for 18 to start the season, had 7 man up goals in the win against UMass Lowell, the most in a game in program history. Huge face-off here. That was off of UMass, so Yale ball.
And that is a big face-off win for Yale.
Face-offs are
and truly it wasn't even a win there. I mean, it was Hockman won it and just knocked it out of bounds.
It's like a jump ball that one guy's so much taller that he just knocks it out of bounds. So now Yale's going to look to run the time off here on the extra man. It's already down to 30 seconds. Carson Kuhl, the first year out of Westlake Village, California, has it. Another top 100 recruit coming in for Andy Shea this season. It's a big day here in New Haven. This game is going to be a great finish. Yale women's hockey playing for the ECAC championship this afternoon. Senior day for Yale men's basketball later tonight. A lot going on here in New Haven. Extra man time is done.
Can't wait to head over to that hockey game. Coach Bolding really just playing an exciting brand of hockey there with the women.
And a flag here against UMass. Only 8 seconds to shoot, but it won't matter. Leo Johnson hit off his stick, comes through to Bragg. He'll have to throw it on net, and we will get the call now with 9:11 to go here in the fourth. It's going to go against the Minutemen. Slash against UMass, and now Yale will go to the extra man for another minute, and the Bulldogs are 2 for 2 on the extra man today. Shot clock will go back to 60. And Johnny Kibe, who had the extra man goal right at the end of the third quarter, is back out there. Here he is. Kibe, Johnson, Kuhl, Brandow, Bragg, Cabrera. The unit for Andy Shea. Leo Johnson. Now Brandow. working on a 6-point day. 35 seconds on the man-up chance. Brandow. Kaib again, fires it high. Still 27 seconds left. Brandow for Leo Johnson. Kaib's pass got knocked down and picked up by Matt Wygant again. Wygant has made some big plays defensively, had the goal earlier. And now each team, it looks like, will trade, killing off the extra man situation.
Great job of getting sticks in the lanes. And that UMass man-down defense, really aggressive, really firing out at everybody, not letting Yale get easy looks, really putting pressure on all the ball handlers.
8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. All tied up at 11. UMass had a 1-goal lead at the end of 3 and at halftime. Bulldogs led 11-10, but now it's 11-11. Mike Tobin with a hat trick today. Tobin, great save, Paquette. Give him 18, a career high. Now Chris Fake, the All-American, gives it up for Leo Johnson. Fake not just an All-American on the Tewaaraton Award watch list. He and Brandow for Yale, both on that list. Chris Connolly, not playing today with an injury, made that list for UMass. It's one of those situations where it feels like it's gotten fairly late early, down to about 7 minutes. Brandow, low shot, and it was stopped somehow by Note.
Great save by Note there.
Kind of just fell on top of it. And now another chance for the Minutemen. 12 saves for Note, 18 for Paquette. And only 6 minutes and 40 seconds left in regulation to decide this one.
This is our second game, and these two games have just been just so close, back and forth. Great games to watch. Great storylines. This is just such a fun game to watch.
Great hit there, and Yale takes it away. Fake with the ground ball, and it was Tevlin who applied the hit, two of the most senior members of this group. Now Yale's going to try and clear. Nice play there by Yale to keep that in. Under 6 to go. Leo Johnson, 2 goals today. He has scored the first goal of both of Yale's home games. Yale hoping to be 2-0 at home. See if they can finish this one off. Patrick Hackler. Now it's Bragg. 30 seconds to shoot for Yale. Biggest possession of the game. Winding up, score! Brad Sharp! Bulldogs lead.
What a shot from Brad Sharp.
Sharp puts Yale ahead. 5:20 to go. We are back at Reese Stadium, a 5-minute and 20-second sprint to the finish as Yale leads 12-11, and just out of the timeout, UMass's all-conference defender, Sam Eisenstadt, is limping and is having trouble getting off the field here. Not exactly sure what happened as he retook the field after the timeout, and now he's going to have to leave the field of play. And Patrick Reed, obviously that is a massive story.
Yeah, huge. And just, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's a cramp. I don't know. There was nothing happening. The defensemen were just standing there, and then all of a sudden it just looked like it just cramped up.
Yeah, I think that's what it is he's going to go get some fluids as we have a big face-off and a clean win for Ramsey. 12 for 22 on the face-offs today for the sophomore out of Morristown.
Yale needs another goal right here if they want. I don't think that this 12-11 will last with the way UMass is playing. So if they don't put one in, this could get really dicey for them. I think UMass is they are just such a tough team.
Good play in net, and on top of it is Note. So they force the turnover. 4:45 to go.
Such a great heads-up play by Note. Seeing that ball coming across and being able to pick it off.
Looked like Brandow was not out there for that possession. Loose ball here, and again, Yale's able to force a turnover of its own as Paquette. I mean, that'll make your heart skip.
Biggest save of the day for Paquette there.
Easy clear for Yale. Now they'll try the same thing about 20 seconds later after each team traded turnovers. Still don't see Brandow out there, so some of the younger players for Yale looking to make a play in a big spot. Kyle Zawadzki. Zawadzki, great pass in front. Cabrera, though, had it knocked out of his stick. And a whistle against the Bulldogs sends it back to UMass.
Crease violation on Cabrera there.
All important clear. Minutemen just 17 of 22 today. They do clear this time. Tobin gets around Stuzen. 3:35 to go. Every possession so important down the stretch.
I keep thinking back to my pregame conversation with Coach Canella today and just the smile that he had.
Arant gives it up. Great pass. We're tied. Prosick. It is 12-12.
I really wonder if he knew this was coming. And it's funny, they score, and Coach Canella is all over the official right now. And Tevlin there with that individual defense, really trying to take the ball away. And you want to say, don't let him get topside. Force him low and force him behind the net instead of letting him get topside so that he can make that pass.
Another monster face-off. Ramsey had it for a moment. He got pushed off the spot by Hammett. Ball still loose, and it's picked up by Alexander for Yale. Face-offs have certainly swung in the Bulldogs' advantage over the last couple minutes.
They have, but they have not cleared this ball yet, so let's not count any chickens because.
Oh, a huge hit. And UMass takes it.
Wow, that is a big miss by this officiating staff because you're going for a ground ball there and he just gets leveled from behind.
Christian Johnson got blown up. It's loose again as we're starting to get really physical. It's Yale ball. Neither team able to grab possession. And finally it's taken by Liljeburg for UMass. And they'll take a timeout here. 2:19 to go. Liljeburg gave Greg Canella a huge hug.
He pushes these guys and he gets everything out of these guys. I did not believe that when you tell me they're down Connolly, they're down Mike Tobin, or Kevin Tobin, excuse me, they're down Towie. I'm not thinking that this is a 12-12 game with 2 minutes left. And credit Coach Canella for having his guys ready, just fighting for everything. And you look at the intensity. That UMass group, they are fired up. You look at Yale, they're just deer in headlights right now. Yeah, they need to make a play and capitalize right now.
And Coach Canella has not talked to anybody but the official during this timeout. So if you're UMass, you look at who's produced for you today. Prosick with 4 goals, Tobin with 3. You obviously have a goalie on the other side who's been really hot in Paquette with 18 saves. Where are you going for this biggest possession in the game?
Listen, I don't know. I would. You have your guys that are stepping up for you, but the way Coach Canella is and the way this UMass team is any one of those guys out there can win it. and every one of them is going to be ready to do it, and that's what he's pushing for right now.
So here we go, 76 seconds on the shot clock, so tons of time for UMass. Game tied at 12.
Well, it looks like they're going to attack the short stick middies.
Arant pushes his way forward. That was a quick shot from a not particularly good angle.
Yeah, that's maybe not what you want, but if you have the backup, you know it's something you can take. But
2 minutes remaining in regulation. James Cadigan back for Arant. 45 seconds to shoot one on net. It was a good play by DeMuth, but UMass able to keep possession.
Oh, this is where he likes to be.
Tobin tried to spin back, got walled off. Tough pass. Still loose there and picked up with 25 to shoot. It was Stuzen with great defense again. Number 1 incoming defenseman in the country. And we had to stop for a moment. And they're going to put the shot clock back at 60 here.
I'm not sure why.
I heard someone yell why from the Yale bench, but it wasn't too much of an argument. So now UMass can take up a lot of the rest of regulation as we have 1 minute left, only 37 to shoot. And Arant taking some time off. Now he'll go. Liljeberg, the Sacred Heart transfer. 22 seconds to shoot.
Back and Stuzen out. He wants that one-on-one with Stuzen.
Liljeberg gets the pick. Little room to operate. Mike Tobin, hat trick today. Tobin tries to shoot. It's way high. He took a big hit there from Eschbach. Only 9 seconds left to shoot. 5 to shoot. Tobin's got to go quickly. Mike Tobin gets knocked down by Eschbach and a shot clock violation. Yale ball with 22.2 to go. And now the Bulldogs absolutely need to clear here.
They need to get that ball into a midi stick quick and get that ball up the field.
Thomas Bragg. Ahead it goes for Tevlin. Down to 10 seconds. Tevlin moves forward, has it knocked out of his stick. Loose behind the net. Crease violation against Yale. And it looks like we're going to go to overtime here. Barring a miracle in the final 6 seconds.
Listen, that's a lot of time, 6 seconds. But I got to say, I'm just still surprised there's not a push there. Tevlin's going to the net, and he just gets ridden into the crease. I just don't know how you don't call a push with possession there.
Eisenstadt, who's back on, throws it all the way forward. And the whistle blows with .8. That's probably not enough time, right?
Anything is possible.
Tevlin throws it the length of the field. And we are headed to overtime here in New Haven. My goodness, what a game. And how about this? Back in 2019, Yale 12, UMass 11 in OT. We are pretty darn close to that. As this one 12-12 at the end of regulation. As the teams get together, and a game this good, I think, deserves a little bit extra.
It does, and you got to love Coach Cannella still working the officials. It's overtime. Keeping it going.
We'll take a break and be back in just a moment for the start of overtime between Yale and UMass. Here we go. Start of overtime. Yale and UMass. The all-important face-off. Ramsey in there. Going against Hockman. Still loose. It was Tevlin for a moment, and Tevlin has it. And here we go.
Yale's got to be really happy that they have not played the game that they would have liked to today, but they are still in a position to win this in overtime.
One goal wins it. Brad Sharp works his way around the net. Gives up for Leo Johnson. Leo Johnson shoots and a save made. Yale still has it. Shot clock resets to 60. And a great timeout by Andy Shea. Saw his player in trouble on the turf, took the timeout to keep possession.
It didn't look like he had possession when he called that timeout. So that is a huge timeout by Andy Shea.
So with 3:13 to go here in the first overtime period, Yale will still have it and a chance to draw something up. Patrick, what a game this has been, though. Back and forth basically the entire second half. Neither team has led by more than a goal in the second half. And now, whoever gets the next one will come out of here victorious.
Yeah, and you gotta think that this is just so much pressure for these teams. Both teams, like we said, coming off of rough losses. UMass, a lot of the game you thought, hey, they've got Yale right where they want them, and they can really take this game. Yale really feeling like they needed to rebound from that Penn State game and maybe not doing what they wanted to offensively and putting the ball in the net. So this is a huge possession and huge game for Yale. So hopefully this is where you see, can they step up and handle that pressure?
2 goals for Johnson, 2 for Cabrera, and 3 for Brandow today. See if one of them might be the hero for the Yale Bulldogs. Coming in ranked 12th in the nation. Looking to improve to 61-15 in its last 76 home games. Brad Sharp fires just wide. Brandow backs it up. Plenty of time to shoot. 46 seconds. The All-American Tewaaraton candidate, Matt Brandow. Still Brandow. Gives it up for Bragg. Zawadzki. Still backed up, 32 seconds. Give credit to UMass. Strong defense so far in overtime. Officials stop it for a moment. They're going to say it hit a defenseman, not a goalie. They had reset the shot clock to 60. They want it back at 32 here, I believe, was the indication.
Wow, that really looked like it was off the goalie's stick.
Johnson will start with it. 30 seconds to shoot for Yale. Here is Bragg. Thomas Bragg fires off the side of the net. And it's picked up by Eisenstadt. Back in after those cramps earlier. And now UMass looking to clear and set up its chance. It's an easy clear. And the Minutemen do have the opportunity. Very strong defensive possession from the Minutemen. And now UMass with a chance to win it.
And they have to feel just that they are a team of destiny right now. This is where you want to be.
Mike Tobin, 3 goals today. Throws it high. A huge turnover, and Yale gets it back. And that might be the nerves of the moment.
I looked like maybe a little check on that pass. But again, Yale's got to clear it here. Has to get it up the field, but a huge play.
Montfort does get it across. Yale now 19 for 22 on the clears today. 1 minute and 35 seconds left in the first overtime period.
And Yale definitely dodged a bullet. That's where Tubin likes to be. He loves to initiate from there. He had the matchup he wanted.
Montfort gives it up for Brandow. Patrick Hackler. Plenty of time, 36 to shoot. Tevlin for Brandow again. Matt Brandow, 30 seconds on the shot clock. Montfort. Now it's Hackler, down to 20 seconds to shoot. Hackler shoots well high, backed up by Leo Johnson with 18 seconds to shoot, and under a minute left in the overtime. Leo Johnson got the pick, looking for space. 10 to shoot for Johnson. Goes low, and he missed just wide. It'll stay with Yale. 7 to shoot for Brandow. Here he goes, Matt Brandow. Trying for passing lane. Shoots and scores! And Yale wins!
Matt Brandow stepping up when his team needs it most. Gets no time. 3 seconds left on that shot clock and just gets that step above goal line extended, turns and fires. And, great win for Yale to be able to take this win. But, man, you got to tip your hat to the UMass Minutemen. What a fight, what a battle. You think about who they're missing and what they did. And just a step above and picks a corner. You always want to tell your players, when you come around goal line extended, you shoot for that far pipe because that goalie's hugging the near pipe. And he just puts it low and away past note.
And wouldn't you know, with a team with so many young players, it's your All-American who wins the game with 38 seconds left in overtime. And Patrick, take a look at that shot clock that is frozen at 3 seconds. Just no panic under the pressure from Brandow. And he wins it 13-12 for Yale in overtime. The Bulldogs are 2-1. And now you start that tough road stretch at Denver and at Cornell the next 2 weeks. But you're going to feel a lot better going into that at 2-1.
I think you definitely look at that 2-1 is definitely a lot better. But Yale knows they got a lot of work to do after this game.
So a 13-12 win for the Bulldogs. That'll wrap things up for our entire crew here in New Haven. And my partner Patrick Reed, I'm Justin Galanti saying so long as Yale is the overtime winner.